माननीय श्रीमती सुधा मूर्ति जी डिमांड टू डिजाइन न्यू इलेक्ट्रिकल ग्रिड्स एंड सफिशिएंट चार्जिंग पॉइंट्स फॉर इलेक्ट्रिकल व्हीकल्स। माननीय सुधा मूर्ति जी, माननीय सुधा मूर्ति जी,
thank you, sir.
Your subject is demand to design new electrical grids.
Giving me a chance to talk.
Yes.
There's a saying, Shubhaste Panthanu Santu. Oh traveler, when you are traveling, everything should go well. With beautiful roads from the Department of Transport, under Mr. Nitin Gadkari, we are all enjoying the great network of India. But there is a small problem in that. He himself said that the 40% of them, the pollution, it comes from the road transportation. So this is the time for us. We have to think about pollution and how to reduce it. There are many ways to reduce, but I want to take one way that is known as the electrical vehicle, and we call it as EV in general. When you have electrical vehicle, things will be better, pollution will be reduced, green gas emission will be less, carbon dioxide will be less, it is fine. But to have that, we require following things. That is my suggestion. If we follow that, it will be really great. Number one, there is a new word by the name range anxiety. It has come into the picture. That means if you have electrical vehicle, you are always under anxiety when the battery charge will be over. So you have to always look at when I get a charging station. And when you get a charging station, following things, you have to think there will be a big queue. Second one, in winter it doesn't charge very well because the battery cannot take it. Number three, how much time I will get to charge my battery. To do all these things, we should have good electricity production. Normally state produces electricity either by hydel or by thermal, maybe some people by nuclear. The kind of electricity we produce, it may be enough for our own state. In that case, where will I bring the extra electricity? I may have 10 charging points, but if I don't have electricity, they are null and void. So this is the main concern, the production and distribution of electricity for the charging points, for the level 2, to reduce the range anxiety. Second thing, like a heart to the body, for electrical vehicle, the heart is a battery. There should be a good BMS, that is battery management system, and there should be a cell which also should be a very good quality. Then only the batteries can work very well and efficiently. Recently in Rajasthan, we have found out there is a new, the lithium is available. So it will be a great idea if in India we can manufacture our own batteries, and that makes us independent, self-dependent, not dependent like oil. Then we can produce a better design batteries which will help us for the EV vehicle in a long way. There is a third point is technician training. Without that it will be really incomplete because there is no good technical training, or there are people who do not understand this technology. So it's a
Thank you. Thank you, Mani Srimati Sudha Murthy ji.
8 million gallon untreated sewage हर दिन इस नदी के अंदर डाला जा रहा है। सर हालात ये हो गए हैं कि ये नदी जहरीला झाग ज्यादा दिखती है और पानी कम। सर इस नदी का बहुत छोटा सा अंश दिल्ली से गुजरता है, लेकिन उसी अंश में 76% ऑफ यमुना गेट्स पोल्यूटेड। सर हालात बहुत खराब है। 55 सीवेज ट्रीटमेंट प्लांट्स की अर्जेंटली ज़रूरत है, जिसमें से दिल्ली में सिर्फ 35 हैं, और सर उनमें से 22 तो स्टैंडर्ड्स भी नहीं मीट करते। सर हर दिन दिल्ली में इलीगल तरीके से कई इंडस्ट्रीज और फैक्ट्रीज हेवी मेटल्स, टॉक्सिक केमिकल्स इस नदी में बहाती हैं, और सर उसकी वजह से हमारी ज़िंदगी में जहर घोला जा रहा है, जिसके ऊपर कोई कार्यवाही नहीं हो रही। सर 2021 में दिल्ली सरकार ने ये वादा किया था कि वो यमुना नदी को इतना साफ कर देंगे 2025 से पहले कि वो खुद उसमें डुबकी लगाएंगे। पर सर हजारों करोड़ रुपए खर्च होने के बावजूद आज भी स्थिति वैसी की वैसी ही है। सर हालात इतने खराब हैं, यमुना नदी हमारी माँ है और वो आज वेंटिलेटर पर है, और सर बस राजनीति हो रही है। सर मैं ये कहना चाहती हूँ कि ये खोखले बयानबाजी, ये झूठे वादे, ये ब्लेम गेम, सर इससे दशा नहीं बदलेगी दिल्ली की। सर दिल्ली सरकार को कहना चाहती हूँ कि जब तक उनकी नीयत साफ नहीं होगी तब तक यमुना का पानी साफ नहीं हो सकता। और सर मेरा ये कहना है कि दिल्ली में सर सीवेज ट्रीटमेंट प्लांट्स को हमें युद्ध स्तर पे बनाना ही होगा, नहीं तो यमुना नदी का यही हाल रहेगा और इसके लिए हमें केंद्र सरकार के सहयोग की भी पूरी ज़रूरत है। सर मैंने कुछ पंक्तियां लिखी हैं और मैं उसको बोलना चाहती हूँ। सर यमुना के किनारे बैठी अब भी वो चिड़िया कहती है, सपने हसीन दिखाए थे सरकार ने, पर सर आज भी मेरी यमुना जहर पी के बहती है। सर वादा था यमुना को शुद्ध बनाएंगे, पहली डुबकी खुद लगाएंगे, डुबकी चाहे अब मत लगाओ, अहंकार छोड़ो, काम पर लग।
थैंक यू सुश्री मालीवाल जी, थैंक यू माननीय श्री एन चंद्रशेखरन, Honorable Sri N. Chandrasekharan, request for privatization and
Honorable Deputy Chairman, sir,
Itari
I would like to bring
railway corridor
to the attention of the Honorable Minister for Railways the need for a separate railway corridor to transport manufacturing goods and raw materials from Itarsi in Madhya Pradesh to Tuticorin in Tamil Nadu via Vijayawada. The scheme was announced by the former Railway Minister, Honorable Lalu Prasad, on the floor of Parliament. Along with this, two other schemes were also announced and completed with the help of the World Bank and the Bank of Japan. However, the corridor from Itarsi to Vijayawada, which should extend up to Tuticorin, has not been started yet. Tamil Nadu is a major manufacturing state, and including the scheme in the budget would greatly benefit its industrial development. This scheme has been assured. I do not understand why it is being delayed. Our former Chief Minister Tamil Nadu and now present State Assembly Opposition Leader, Honorable Edappadi Palaniswamy, has also consistently urged the central government to extend this scheme. Therefore, I request the Honorable Minister for Railways to line up the scheme, allocate sufficient funds, expedite its implementation, and support the industrial development of Tamil Nadu. Thank you for giving the opportunity to speak on the funding of the Itarsi Tuticorin Railway Corridor Scheme. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mani N. Chandrasekharan ji. Honorable Sri M. Shanmugam, concern over violations of Contract Labour Regulation Act.
Thank you, Deputy Chairman, sir. The serious views of the violation of provisions of the Contract Labour Regulation Act and ensure all contract workmen are paid on par with the regular workmen in the organization. Sir, Section 10 of the Contract Labour Regulation Abolition Act 1970 speaks about the prohibition of employment of contract labour by considering the relevant factors. A. Whether the process, operation or other work is incidental to or necessary for the industry, trade, business, manufacture or occupation that is carried on in the establishment. B. Whether it is a perennial nature, that is to say, it is of sufficient duration having regard to the nature of industry, trade, business, manufacture or occupation that is carried on. C. Whether it is done ordinarily through regular workmen in that establishment. D. Whether it is sufficient to employ considerable number of full-time workmen. These are the factors prohibit engagement of contract labour. If the contractor takes license as per the central rules notified under the Contract Labour Act Rules 25(2), Section 4, the rates of wages payable to the workmen by the contract shall not be less than the rates of the prescribed under the Minimum Wages Act for such employment where applicable and where the rates have been fixed by agreement, settlement or award not less than the rate so fixed. But the minimum wages are fixed only the schedule of employment declared by the rules of the state and central. The government companies like railway, defence and the public sector undertaking do not come under the purview of the schedule of the employment. So, if the contract workmen to be engaged in those organizations, they should be paid the minimum wages of the concerned industrial worker. but this is not happening in the government organization, and that act and rules are violated in the government organization itself. So it leads to private organizations also doing the same. I would therefore urge upon the Honorable Labour Minister to view this violation of seriously and should take necessary action to ensure payment all the contract workmen on par with the permanent workers similarly placed. For addressing all these issues, I request the Honorable Minister through you, sir, to convene the Indian Labour Conference as early as possible. Thank you very much, sir.